All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. All right, before I get going here, going to be talking about Lou Gramm and Foreigner again, kind of a follow up to the video I did earlier via podcast format. I want to tell you about a brand new album by this group called The Defiance. They feature Bruno Ravel, Rob Marcello, and Paul Lane, who are all current or former members of the band Danger Danger, and they are back with their third album. It's called Drive. It will come out on June the 9th. So you got, like 2 months to plan for this? You can pre-order the CD via Frontiers Music. The Defiance are absolutely amazing. They've had 2 prior albums that were just stellar from start to finish. They know how to write songs. They know how to create nice familiar sounding hooks, and the singing and the production, everything is what a classic rock fan wants. A bit on the glam rock side, I would say, The Defiance, and great album covers too. And the Drive album is a good one as well. I think you're going to enjoy the material on this album. And no, I haven't heard any of it yet. That's how confident I am. I forgot to really plug the other albums they put out, but this is one amazing band. Now, another amazing band that I just got through doing a video about is Foreigner, the Foreigner Lou Gramm saga. I had one of my friends send me the article that kind of inspired the video, but I had already done the video. And his perspective is, well, Lou Gramm is right. This isn't really Foreigner. That's the first reaction everybody has. But this has been going on for 15 years. Or no, longer, right? What is it? 18 years. You're looking at 18 years of Foreigner without Lou Gramm. That's a long time. That's longer than the Arnell Journey thing. And I'm a little bit perplexed as to why everybody just jumps on the Lou bandwagon here. And again, Lou can say whatever he wants to say. All right. It's almost as if he's waiting for Mick Jones to just keel over on stage and say, see, this isn't Foreigner anymore. And how come he didn't show up for the show? Maybe he's not feeling well. And then to put it out there that he's not feeling well and then have Jeff Pilson say, no, he's doing all right. I don't think that's cool. I mean, if Mick, this is where I do believe in medical privacy. This is actually where I believe in it. Because if Mick Jones is just not feeling well enough to go on stage anymore, I mean, he's almost 80 years old. So, I mean, does that give him a free pass? I mean, he's not Donnie Iris, right? You got to go check out the Donnie Iris video. For you patrons, just everybody. I mean, Donnie Iris doing Aaliyah on his 80th birthday is just spectacular. Should have been headline news all around the world, but people have forgotten about poor Donnie Iris. Just a great singer and a party in a box. That's what Donnie Iris is. Not even a box, just a party. But getting back to this Lou Gramm and Foreigner, Mick Jones, and all these issues here. Is it Foreigner? It is Foreigner. It's Foreigner because it's a remnant of Foreigner. It's the last dying embers of Foreigner, however you want to look at it. What's weird is now that these guys have announced their ending, and I'm talking about Foreigner, it's like everybody's interested now in the fact that they've had a different singer for 18 years and that maybe he mimicked the guy he replaced, because I'm sure Mick Jones told him to do that and Lou Gramm said it. And I'm thinking, I would have done the same thing. You know, that other guy we used to have, try to sound like him. Jason Scheff, when he replaced Peter Cetera, David Foster said, hey, you need to sing like Peter. And he did. He tried to. He didn't sound exactly like Peter. I would say that Kelly Hansen sounds more like Lou Gramm than Jason Scheff sounds like Peter Cetera. And like Arnell sounding like Steve Perry. You know, it's the same thing. Nobody sounds like Steve Perry, but of the 3 of them, I would say Kelly Hansen got the closest. It's like if you're in golf and you hit that putt just right. I mean, Kelly Hansen is right next to the hole. Or as, Jason Chef overshot the hole and Arnell sliced a little bit, went off to the side. You know what I'm saying? So I'm using really tortured golf analogies. I do not play golf. I used to a long time ago. It's a very frustrating sport. It's much like doing a YouTube channel when you get demonetized. You're like, wow, I did all that work and I'm being demonetized. So it's like I hit that ball perfectly and then the wind got it and that was it, So I think in the case of Lou Gramm, like I said in the first video, I get why he's upset at this. But I mean, his former friend, I don't know if he's still his friend, Mick Jones, he might be in poor health. And rather than say, and be sympathetic and say, well, Mick is just trying to get through the remaining tour dates here because the band has announced that it's on its farewell tour. And I believe the tour goes into 2024. But I don't think this is going to be like Kiss or David Lee Roth or Aerosmith, where it's never really the end. It's just telling you it might be the end, like Kiss. It might be the end of the road tour. I think with this, it's going to be over because Kelly Hansen has made some very definitive statements about his voice. He's worried he won't be able to do this for too much longer. He says he's pretty much putting everything on the field every night just to maintain things as they are. And I like that. I've said that over and over again. Here's a guy who doesn't want to be out there past his expiration date. And you can make an argument, and please forgive me, Lou, but I think Lou Gramm may have gone a little too long. Now, if it's the occasional, booze cruise thing and people are just happy to see him, see, that's why a lot of people go to these events, because they can see their heroes. They can get up there and shake hands and thank them for all of what they've done. But, for instance, though, the other day I saw Roger Daltrey on one of these tours or cruises, and he was phenomenal. He was amazing. He did After the Fire. And I'm sitting there watching it going, holy crap, he's still got it. And he's great. And the audience is into it, even though it wasn't a big radio song. Actually, rock stations played the crap out of After the Fire. Haven't heard it since, 1986 or so. But that was a huge song. And, to see him up there doing it and going, okay, all right, I'm not thinking to myself, yeah, he shouldn't be up there doing this, and you feel bad for the singer and you're privately rooting them on, hoping that, they recover or something happens, or they're just holding back a little bit and they're going to come out of their shell. And then you realize that the shell is permanent and you can't fix it. And time has taken it away from them. That's rough. And there are a lot of people that can't admit that. And they keep going because they know if the name is on the marquee, people are going to show up. Look who's going to be there. They can't sing anymore, but look who's going to be there. I tell this story of my friend going to see this triple bill as like the music of Journey, the music of Foreigner, and the music of Asia, right? And she got back to me and said, Dave, it was one of the worst things I've ever gone to see. None of them could sing. The guy from Asia didn't sound like Asia. He sounded like a different band. And by the way, you replaced John Wetton, right, with who's kind of was the fine bottle of Zinfandel. You replace him, and then you get the gravel dump truck Harley Davidson voice of John Payne, which sounds nothing like Asia. That's your problem. See, what Asia did when they rebooted without John Wetton was they did a Sammy Hagar Van Halen thing. They weren't really trying to sound vocally like the old band, maybe musically, but not vocally. But the most successful part of that band is the John Wetton part. And so, yeah. So when people go and hear Heat of the Moment, which is the one song that everybody knows by Asia, kind of still, and they're like, wow, that doesn't sound like the original now, does it? So again, my argument is you can replace singers and bands. You can replace bands with bands. You know what I mean? If nobody can perform, or if everybody's been written out of the contract and you've got one guy standing who owns the contract. This is what happened with the Little River Band here in the United States. That's what happened. And they've been touring and performing this music. And there's a very heated debate about that. No original members. And then you go to bands like the Guess Who, the drummer is still in it. I don't know if he's hanging on or not, but they don't sound anything like the 70s version of the Guess Who. And you can go down a list, Quiet Riot, and have you pick a band, right? Technically, Journey is down to one original member, which would be Neil Schon. But people are okay with that because, you got Neil, and then you got John, and you got Dean. So you've got a core band there. And there are other instances. Don Henley, the last man standing in the Eagles, but everybody loves Joe Walsh and Timothy B. Schmidt. And so, there's plenty of nostalgia there. And then you've got good old Vince Gill, who makes it okay because he's Vince Gill. He gives the thing a little name recognition. But getting back to the Foreigner Lou Gramm thing, there's really no good answer for any of this. For those folks who are more interested in seeing the guy who was there at the beginning, Lou Gramm, perform, and they don't really care if it sounds like it used to, because you really have to kind of put your feelings and your hearing aside, sorry, and close your eyes and think to yourself, remember Foreigner 4? Remember being at the amusement park and being on the scrambler, and they had the volume turned up to 11, and you're going by the speaker really fast and you're hearing the beat to Jukebox Hero. By the way, this is a true story for me. 1981. I'll never forget that. And that was Lou Gramm at full strength, full force, and nothing can really compare to that, right? And so if you can kind of put aside all of those feelings and turn the hearing aid down a little bit, then you might be able to cope with it in your heart. You might say, okay, this isn't so bad. But, if you're there to hear the music that sounds like Foreigner, then I think you might be disappointed with both bands. You might be disappointed with, what is called Foreigner, and you might be disappointed with Lou, because neither of them are close. I think Kelly is closer, and hence he's been there for 18 years. And now it's time to quit. I think the troublesome part of all of this for me is that all of a sudden now we've got all these critiques coming in about Kelly Hansen, and he's a poser. And it's because Mick Jones might be on his literal last leg and can't do this for very much longer. And he's not there. I've been hearing about this for 3 or 4 years, that he won't make appearances. It's his band. It's his band. If he doesn't want to be there, he doesn't have to be there. That's the way I see it. It's his band. Now, if that's going to, influence ticket sales, I don't know if the casual fans will care. I really don't. He's the oldest guy on stage, and the younger women aren't going to see Mick Jones. They're probably there to see other guys in the band, including Kelly Hansen, who's also in his early 60s now. So, I guess everything's relative, right? But you go from almost 80 years old to 62, 61. And I think for the most part, people just want to hear, this is my final take on this, is that most people want to hear the music the way they remember it. That's it. There's no other punchline to it. They want to hear it close. And that's why tribute bands are a thing. They are becoming more and more a thing, and people laugh at it. But it's becoming more and more apparent that if you want to get closer to the original sound, you might have to go and listen to a tribute band. There's a band now out of Cleveland, Ohio. Friend of mine plays drums in the band. It's called Hot Blooded. You can go to hotbloodedtribute.com, and they're really good. In fact, I think the keyboard player and the drummer are friends of mine in this band. So, and I'm not doing this video just to promote those two guys, but Troy Sands plays keyboards and Michael Scott Nelson is on drums. I had Michael on the broadcast back in November for Thanksgiving. I thought people might want to find out about this. So if you're in that area and you want to go see a band that is carrying the legacy forward, you can go see Hot Blooded in concert. And I know those two guys are really great musicians. So I haven't seen them live yet, but I'm hoping someday I'll get a chance to do that. I've never seen Foreigner play live either. And I don't think I've seen Lou Gramm as a solo artist either. So for whatever reason, I missed the Foreigner train, but I was at the amusement park on that hot summer day, cruising around the Scrambler, listening to Jukebox Hero, and I'll never forget that moment. It was just one of those great music, great time things that you do when you're a kid, when you're a teenager, and those are great memories, and a lot of people are holding on to those memories. That's why they're going to go see Lou Gramm, and I don't blame you for going to see Lou. Just, understand that at this point in time, I don't think it really matters in the long run whether you're critiquing Foreigner in their current version, with or without Mick, or if you're going to go see Lou at this stage. Do what works for you, All right, people.